So after another weekend in the Championship, we are back for another episode of the Championship Roundup and to discuss all of the weekend's action. We've got a lot of talking points to go over today, which of course I'm interested to get your guys' view on. I'll leave a few polls for you guys to vote on, and we had some mad results going on this weekend. Before we get into anything though, I want to give a shout out to our sponsors over at OneFootball. As always, their link will be in the top line of the description down below. We do have Championship football going on in midweek in the Championship, so we will be predicting those games at the end of today's video. If you want to keep up to date with all those games, then you can go over to the OneFootball app, get live updates to your phone of what is happening around the Championship. Obviously, we've got the FA Cup up on the weekend as well. We've got all the transfer rumours currently going around the league, so a lot to keep up to date with. OneFootball is the place to stay in touch with all that. And before we do talk about any of the individual games, I will include your guys' score predictions on screen now. So if any of you did successfully manage to get any of your score predictions correct, then fair play. I just got the one correct this weekend, that being the Preston against Charlton game. It's not too bad going from me. Obviously, we got the game going on tonight as well between West Brom and Stoke City. We'll be talking about that in tomorrow's video. But without any further ado, let's get into talking about these games. So starting out with Friday night's game, we saw Fulham beating Middlesbrough by 1-0, with Leeds and West Brom faltering as the top two at the moment. Perhaps Fulham have come back into form at just the right point in time of the season, and another clean sheet for them in this game. And I must say, for the first 20 or so, 25 minutes, Fulham were absolutely fantastic going forward, and the game should have been out of sight by them with the amount of chances that they were creating. They took the lead after 6 minutes. Tom Kearney spreading the ball out wide to Joe Brown, then he fizzed the ball across the box, and a well-timed run from Knockout meant that he had a tap in. But after that, there was just a flurry of chances, and I'd say that my biggest frustration with Fulham so far this season, as well as their defending at some points of the season, has been the tempo to their play has just been a little bit too slow in the build-up to getting chances. It's a little bit too pedestrian. They're not making those defence-splitting passes enough, and the first 20 or so minutes were what I think a lot of people expected Fulham to be this season. They were absolutely brilliant going forward, creating a lot of chances. They pressed well, they were dynamic, and they should have had a lot more goals. You know, Cavallero and Onuma should have put this game to bed, no doubt. Considering they were out Mitrovic as well, that was maybe a reason why their finishing wasn't up to scratch. But yeah, the opening to this game, Fulham were looking really good. Because they didn't take those chances though, there was the feeling that Middlesbrough may grow back into this game. They had a good chance with a Dennis Odoi deflection. Speaking of Dennis Odoi, he did get the ball in the back of the net for the second half, but that goal was ruled out to be offside. Very close call, that one. But Fulham did go on to pick up all 3 points, and I think deservedly so. It was a top performance from them. And looking at Leeds and West Brom in the top 2 at the moment, Fulham in 3rd at the moment. Let's see what happens over the next few weeks. And then we get into the early kickoff on Saturday, which saw QPR beating Leeds by 1-0 in, I think it's fair to say, quite controversial circumstances. We'll talk about QPR first of all. Eze, another player who I really enjoyed watching for this one. He was involved in the first goal, a free kick on the edge of the Leeds box. It was deflected into the path of Naki Wells, who handballed it not once but twice, and then ended up putting it into the back of the net. Leeds quite rightly feeling aggrieved by that. A surprising one that it wasn't picked up by the ref or linesman, considering that it had hit his hand not once but twice. Then from then on, Leeds are on the back foot. You know, being a goal down at Loftus Road isn't the easiest place to be, but they had chances to get back into this one. The first chance, Patrick Bamford in the first off when he was sent through on goal, did really well to hold off his man, showed good strength there to get him behind as well, but it came to the finish, and oh boy did he squander it. Like, we've seen Bamford miss some chances so far this season, but he went through on goal and there was no potency in that strike whatsoever. It drifted harmlessly over the bar. Leeds' frustrations continued into the second half. They did eventually win the penalty. Bamford did well to win that, but it wasn't going to be his day once again. Fairly poor penalty, not much behind it, and Kelly got down well to save it. Should Bamford have been on the penalty or not? I don't know. Leeds fans could probably tell me better. Leeds had countless crosses coming into the box, but in the end coming to nothing. Pablo Hernandez hit the post from a free kick. It just wasn't going to be their day, and then to make things worse, Calvin Phillips gets a red card at the end of the game for a really reckless challenge on Jeff Cameron. Obviously, those two have had a bit of history before from last season as well, but it was reckless and mistimed, and now Calvin Phillips is going to be a big miss for Leeds on this bad run that they're already on and they look to get out of. So big 3 points for QPR, but I mean, what a rollercoaster this one was. Then we have Birmingham drawing 1-1 with Cardiff. Probably a game of 2 halves for this one, really. Birmingham started out the game really well, took the lead after just 4 minutes. Jude Bellingham once again getting on the score sheet after converting from a corner. Bellingham had a perfect opportunity to make it 2-0 as well, but a fantastic save from Alex Smithies. Made himself big and at point blank range made a brilliant save to keep the scoreline down. Bella also hit the crossbar. He looked quite lively for Birmingham in what was seemingly a decent first 45 minutes for them. Cardiff weren't really at it, but the second half was a complete contrast to that. Cardiff looked to impose themselves on Birmingham a little bit more, and Birmingham couldn't really get things going for that second half. Cardiff were flowing forward. Lee Tomlin, as he normally is, was at the centre of most things that Cardiff were doing well. He did have the ball in the back of the net, but the offside flag did rule that one out. Had quite a strong appeal for a penalty as well, but eventually it was Tomlin who did get the equaliser for Cardiff, him then converting from a corner that they had. And from then on, they had a couple of chances to go and win it. Djukovic for Birmingham also had a chance for Birmingham, Birmingham. Once again though, that was well saved by Alex Smithies, and in the end finishing as a 1-1 draw. The point probably a fair result given it was sort of a game of two halves. Next up we then had Bristol City beating Barnsley by 1-0. A big 3 points for Bristol City at Ashton Gate, which should go on to lift the mood a little bit given some of their recent results. It takes them back up into that playoff picture as well. But despite losing, I thought that Barnsley put up a real valiant effort for this one and were more than deserving of getting something from this game. Daniel Bentley I thought had a really good game for Bristol City though, kept them in it in a couple of occasions in the first half. Alex Moat had a really good chance saved by Bentley, and a couple of other acrobatical saves did well to keep Bristol City in it. To be fair to the home side though, they did have their share of chances. They hit the woodwork on a couple of occasions, but Barnsley really missed some gilt-edged chances in that second half, you know. Luke Thomas had one unbelievable chance when he was at point blank range really, which he poked wide. They hit the crossbar as well. But some of the football Barnsley were playing, you know, some of the build up to the chances that Barnsley had, some fantastic link-up play. It's just they weren't clinical enough for this one. Preston do face Barnsley in midweek, so I'm really interested to see how that game turns out. But in the end, it was Eliasson, one of my favourite players in the Championship really, who did score the winner for Bristol City. Brilliant run from Jay De Silva from left back, whips the ball into Eliasson, and then he keeps his composure to slot it into the back of the net. So Bristol City go on to get all 3 points, big 3 points for them. Barnsley, unlucky I thought. The result does keep them in the bottom 3, but it is still very close down there. Then we had Derby beating Hull by 1-0. Hull had some fantastic chances in this game. Jared Bowen a chance in the first half, which fell to him inside the box. With the way that he's playing at the moment, he probably scores that 9 times out of 10. He took his chance to let the ball fall down to him, but somehow squandered the ball wide. Josh McGuinness had a good chance for Hull in the second half as well, but a big 3 points for Derby in this one. We said in the preview video at the weekend, I fancy Derby for this one because with everything going on with them off the pitch at the moment, you know, 3 points in this game would have been a nice distraction for them. Obviously, still unbeaten while Wayne Rooney has played. Another really good performance from him, you have to say, setting the tempo for them in midfield. He's obviously feeding the likes of Marriott and Waghorn at the moment, who are prone to missing a sitter every now and again. I think it's fair to say Waghorn had a couple more chances in this game here today, but I thought he led the line fairly well. He's just not quite got that killer instinct in front of the goal that he had a couple seasons ago. Obviously, in the end, the winner came from Matt Clark from a set piece. George Long made a bit of a meal out of it, came out to claim the ball, and Matt Clark got to the ball before him. In fairness to Long, I think he has had a very good season for Hull, but for that one, he had a bit of a nightmare getting tangled up with it. But in the end, that was enough for Derby to go on and claim all 3 points. So Derby still unbeaten while Rooney has played. Big 3 points for them. Huddersfield against Brentford ended as a goalless draw. Brentford probably saw this one as a bit of a missed opportunity, given the fact that Leeds did lose this weekend, so they had the opportunity to close that gap even further. But in the end, the points were shared at Huddersfield. Brentford probably had the majority of the play in the first half, but the majority of their chances were from outside the box. Huddersfield did well in defending their box for the first half. Obviously, Brentford, within the way they play, are always going to be a side who like to play you around, but Huddersfield were quite resilient for this one, and I don't think that many teams will limit Brentford to not scoring against them this season. Obviously, they went to Griffin Park, picked up a result there, beating them 1-0, and then a goalless draw in this one. So in that aspect, Huddersfield to get 4 points out of Brentford this season, you know, not too many sides will go on and do that. In the second half though, Huddersfield looked to really grow into the game, and Colin Grant had a brilliant opportunity, but he just couldn't get it on target. The ball was fizzed to him at the far post, and there's no one better in that Huddersfield squad that you want that chance to fall to, but he just couldn't find the target. Smith Rowe and some of their other signings showed glimpses in this one as well, especially in the first half. He had some nice touches. Brentford did have the chance to win this one late on though. De Silva hitting the post, but it wasn't to be for them. So like I said, in the end for Brentford, bit of a frustrating one, but a good point for Huddersfield, I'd say. Then we have Millwall beating Reading by 2-0 still. Millwall continuing on this fantastic run. Reading just seemed to be a bit of a bad day at the office really. Millwall were all over them, and that's reflected by the stats of this one. It looked like for a long time though that Reading may be able to hold out for a point for this one. You know, Millwall were creating a lot of chances, but it just wasn't quite sticking. In the end though, it took until the 71st minute when Matt Smith opened the scoring. Looked to be a potential handball in the build-up to that one from Conor Mahoney, but a brilliant ball hooked into the box from Jed Wallace. Cooper brought the ball down, and a fantastic sweeping finish from Smith to make it 1-0. After that, there was the endeavour from Millwall to go on and get that second goal, and I mean the majority of this game seemed to be played in the Reading half. Reading couldn't really get anything going moving forward. Obviously they've been really dynamic in the way they've been playing lately, but their forward thinking players weren't really on it for this game. Someone like Charlie Adam, who's impressed for them lately, couldn't really stamp his authority on the game. Millwall's intensity was good, they were looking clean on the ball, and then their second goal, a fantastic counter-attacking move, which was well finished by Bodvarsson. The first half did look to be lively though. Tom Bradshaw having a penalty appeal and then ended up being booked for diving. That referee wasn't the most popular man at the Denham full time, but another cracking performance from Millwall at the Den, which really keeps them in the chase for the top 6. Obviously the thing that did go on to put a bit of a dampener on the day was the play being stopped at one point, with the match officials reporting an alleged incident of homophobic abuse. Millwall were quite swift to put a statement out on that, saying that if anyone was found guilty then they will be issued with a lifetime ban, which I think yeah, the club's done the right thing there. But like I said, that was the only real dampener on what was a fantastic performance from Millwall. Then we had North End getting back to winning ways with a 2-1 home home victory over Charlton, just what we were in need of after this recent run, and Josh Harrop really was the player to steal the show in this one. But it was Charlton who took the lead. Their left wing back had an absolute acre of space for the first sort of half an hour of this game. We were playing quite narrow down that right hand side, and that's where the opening goal came from. With the ball in, and of all people, of course, Andre Green was the man on the spot to put it into the back of the net. On loan at Preston for the first half of the season, never really got the chance under Alex Neil, but got his first goal for Charlton. He was definitely someone who looked up for this game, and I still think he'll go on to do quite well for Charlton. Actually, they got a good player in there, but Preston were quite poor for the first sort of 10 or 15 minutes this one, but after that started to grow into the game a little bit more, and it was Josh Harrop who was absolutely central to all the things we were doing well. You know, for the majority of the season so far, Josh Harrop's been stuck out on that left-hand side, but playing in the number 10 today, he was so influential. The equaliser was an absolute peach of a finish. 3-3 for Josh Harrop now on his weak foot, left foot, bends it into the top corner from outside the box. Absolutely superb finish, and in the end he goes on to get the assist for the winner as well. Patrick Bauer against his former side, winning it for North End. Charlton quite poor defending lately. They have been a bit suspect at defending set pieces, and I mean, of all clubs to know about Patrick Bauer's, you know, aerial ability, it's Charlton. But he got a run on their defence and powered his header into the back of the net, and it ended as 2-1. So another standout play for North End. Scott Sinclair, I thought, showed glimpses for Preston. I think when he does get fully match fit, then we'll have a really good player on our hands there. Nice to see DJ back in the side, and to get 3 points without Ben Pearson is a good thing for us moving forward. Then we had Sheffield Wednesday 0, Blackburn Rovers 5. What a massive result for Blackburn considering the recent run they're on. Sheffield Wednesday now just 1 win in their last 5. Blackburn took the lead. Lewis Holtby after 19 minutes. Really well worked goal, you have to say, working from the back. Brilliant ball out into Armstrong. Armstrong with some nice footwork gets the shot away. Dawson saves, but then Holtby follows it in to make it 1-0. The game-changing moment probably comes when Luongo is sent off after 23 minutes. To be honest, I mean, he leaves his foot in after a challenge, but it's a yellow card at best for me. I thought the red was quite harsh, but from then on, Wednesday absolutely fell apart. Like, I'd say that when the second goal went in, Wednesday just threw in the towel. The goal was a little bit comical in the way that the shot came in from outside the box, it hit the post and then went back in off Dawson's head, but from that point onwards, absolutely abysmal from Sheffield Wednesday. And it's crazy to see the contrasting performance from last time when they beat Leeds at Ellen Road to this showing against Rovers at Hillsborough. It was a complete disaster class. At no point did there seem to be any urgency to turn things around and get back into the game, and some of the defending was absolutely shocking, but Blackburn were more than happy to pounce on that. Holtby made it 3-0 before half time. He had a really standout game for Blackburn in this one. I think the more he starts to influence games, the more he's going to be an important player for Blackburn in the tail end of the season. Lenihan made it 4. A brilliant ball in from Stuart Downing, another player with real quality in there, and then Sam Gallagher made it 5 just before full time. And Blackburn do have some fantastic options going forward, and when you're not at it, they've got people from all areas who can hurt you, and they happily did that in this one. Death taxes and Wigan dropping points from winning positions. They seem to be the 3 guarantees in life at the moment. Wigan once again took the lead in this game. Nathan Byrne finishing off well from a counter-attacking move after 16 minutes. But that lead for Wigan lasted all of 3 minutes until Swansea got back into this game. And it was Brewster on the score sheet getting his first goal in a Swansea City shirt. Fantastic build up to this one. Selena into Gallagher. Gallagher with a brilliant ball in behind the Wigan defence into Brewster. And then Brewster with a cracking finish to make it 1-1. That forward 4 of Swansea, by the way, really excites me. And if they line up like that for the rest of the season with Brewster, with Gallagher in behind him in that number 10 role, Selena out to the left and then AU on the right, that's really an exciting forward line which I think will create a lot of chances. The winner in the end for Swansea came in the second half burst, and Selena with some fantastic work down that left hand side got the ball into AU, and then AU with a fantastic back heel finish to make it 2-1. The result sees Swansea sat in the top 6 come the end of the weekend. They're currently in 6th place, but a lot of teams chasing them at the moment. But after that result and with the players they picked up so far, they're looking decent for a real strong top 6 challenge, I think. And then we finished things off with Forest beating Luton 3-1 on Sunday. I did think it was the away side Luton who started as the better of the 2 sides though. They were playing some quite fast football. Luar was causing a few problems. He had some nice dribbles. And the opening goal by Harry Cornick was really well taken. So nice work from Mpanzu. And it was the fast football that we come to associate with Luton from last season, really. Seemingly something that they'd lost from their game lately. But well taken goal by Luton. We were thinking then maybe they could go on and kick on from there. But Joe Lolly really turned it on after that. Getting them back into it in the 36th minute with a goal at the near post. Sluga once again should be doing better with those. The sides went in level at half time at 1-1. Forest were continuing to grow into the game, but the second from Joe Lolly, absolute peach of a finish. And I feel like we've not really spoken about Joe Lolly all too much on the channel so far. far this season. He's been having a bit of a quiet season compared to last time out, but this really looked to be the Joe Lolly of last season, getting the ball, being direct, running at people, and a fantastic strike to make it 2-1. Sluga stood no chance with that, and really is one of the best wingers in the league when he's in the mood. Forest continued to press. Their midfield was operating well for this one. In the end, they made it 3-1 late on, given a penalty for handball, and Lewis Grabban took that one away to make it 3-1. The worrying thing about Luton at the moment is I think they are currently on target to be beating the current record for the most goals conceded in the Championship. They've already conceded 61 so far this season, and I mean, like, conceding 3 goals like this week in, week out, it's just not sustainable for them going forward. Big win for Nottingham Forest though. They've of course still got that game in hand on the teams above them, and if they were to win that, they'd only be 2 points off the top 2. But those were all the games that did take place this weekend. In terms of my result of the weekend, I think that has to go to Blackburn Rovers for that 5-0 away victory over Sheffield Wednesday. And then for my goal of the weekend, I'm going to give it to Josh Harrop for that fantastic goal against Charlton Athletic. Weak foot outside the box, top bins. Josh Harrop gets it for me. And we do have some Championship action going on in midweek this week, which we will be predicting now. So obviously we've got the West Brom Stoke game going on tonight. If you want to see my thoughts on that, go to my previous video. But I have predicted West Brom to be getting back to winning ways with a 2-1 victory tonight. In midweek though, we see Barnsley going up against North End. Barnsley, I thought, got quite unlucky actually not to get something from Ashton Gate. I thought they put in a good performance, just couldn't take their chances. Going up against North End, who have got back to winning ways, but away at Oakwell, I don't think they'll make it easy for us. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw in that game. Middlesbrough against Birmingham is another interesting one. I see this game being fairly low scoring. Borough obviously want to get back to winning ways after losing at Craven Cottage, and I think they may just go and do that. Birmingham, you never really know what to expect. I'm going to go 1-0 Borough in that game. Charlton Fulham. Charlton are starting to get some players back into the starting 11, but it is still a very thin squad, and with how well Fulham played at the weekend, I'm going to go 2-1 Fulham in that game. And then Forest against Reading is our last midweek fixture. I'm going to go for a 2-1 home victory for Forest in that game. I think they're going really well in the Championship at the moment, and Reading were quite disappointing at the weekend. But guys, there you have it. That will now wrap it up for today's episode of the Championship Roundup. So if you're going to enjoy, make sure you leave a like. It is always massively appreciated. Make sure you do subscribe for a bit of regular Championship content. But other than that, thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.